What's up, guys, and welcome back to some more Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Now we are on to Chapter 3, Encounter. Alright, let's jump right into it. So I'm seeing a theme here. Let's see what Satoshi's up to. This really wasn't my day. I knocked over my alarm clock this morning, and of course it stopped working. The very last pork sandwich sold out right before my eyes during lunch. Is this a nightmare he's having while he's in the nightmare? The pork sandwich. And I was roped into a favor when I happened upon my homeroom teacher, Mr. Yamazaki, long after the school day had ended. So now, like it or not, I was on my way to deliver some notes to Miss Yu, our homeroom TA, who was out sick with a cold. I do hate when that happens at times. I try to understand people's handwriting. I stopped and compared the memo in my hand with the apartment building in front of me. It was 2 stories tall and looked a little on the shabby side. Is this the right place? Probably about 20 years old. It doesn't seem very solid, nor it was particularly stylish, or I'm sure there's the chic. Cheek. It was a completely unremarkable structure in every way. Oh shit. Remember, everybody, if you write a 7, not great, make sure it looks more like a 7 than a 1. I was really getting fed up with this handwriting. From a teacher, no less. In any case, it seemed certain the apartment was on the 2nd floor, so I trudged up and startlingly narrowed steep stairs. The metal staircase was thoroughly blotched with patches of rust. Why would someone live in such a run-down apartment building? I mean, there are some teachers that have to pay for their own supplies, so this actually isn't that surprising. In Japan? I don't know. I felt a little sorry for her, but in a way, this place kind of fit her personality. With that thought in mind, I turned my attention towards apartment 201. It's a 50-50 shot that the handwriting, we understood the handwriting. The door plate from the room nearest the stairs had a name I didn't recognize scribbled on it. Passing room 201, I continued down the narrow walkway towards the end. Wandering alone around an apartment building I'd never been to before made me feel kind of nervous. This music sounds like Pokemon music. It wasn't like I was doing anything wrong, but my back still tensed up as I maneuvered around pile-up strollers, plastic toys, and bundles of newspapers. And then finally, I arrived at the last door. This was it. I breathed a sigh of relief. The door plate for the apartment 207 read. For an adult's handwriting especially, the letters were rounded and overly curtsy. This was Miss Yu's place, all right. I leaned in to read something written in small script on the corner of the door plate. That's a new one. We'll go in. That could be a sarcastic sign, though. So how exactly does one beware a house cat? Is it even possible for a house cat to be threatening? At any rate, I confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was Miss Yu's place, so my errand was nearing its end.
それにしても山崎先生もひどいよな。風邪ひいたクラスメートにプリント持っていくならわかるけど、風邪ひいた副担の先生のうちに授業のノートを届けろって。絶対におかしい。間違いなくこれ担任の仕事だよ。
Yeah, this is kind of unusual. He said he was busy with meetings, though, and really needed one of his students to help him out. But was it really okay to entrust a school student with these confidential class notes? Yes. Yes, Satoshi, but you're highly trusted. My mind kept drifting from one question to another, and I become acutely aware of the inherent value of these notes held in my bag. But tempting as it was, I couldn't bring myself to look at them. Mr. Yamazaki put his faith in me. And I was stronger than that. I couldn't let this get the best of me. At any rate, I was here. I should have just been able to drop off these notes and be on my way. Putting all my doubts and misgivings aside, I rang the doorbell. And then I waited, and waited, and waited some more, but there was no answer. This is such a visual novel. I rang the bell again. I also tried calling out, but there was still no response. Let's put it under the door and call it a day. When we heard that Miss Yu was staying homesick today, we were all pretty disappointed. That's why part of me was actually a little happy that I was asked to run these over to her. I figured I'd be able to check in and see how she was doing and let everyone know at school that she was feeling better. But then I got nothing to go on. Sensei. She was probably sleeping or out at the doctor's office or something, but what if she were hurt? I tried opening the mail slot, peeking in. I thought maybe I could get a glimpse of the room inside. I felt kind of wrong peeking into someone's house without permission. But I was legitimately worried about Miss Yu's health, so my conscience was clear on this one. It's like, what the hell am I playing? Why is Satoshi thinking about this moment? A well-groomed cat was facing the door and stared back at me. With its head tilted slightly to the side, it let out an adorable meow. This must be the cat I was instructed to beware. And since Miss Yu was also going on and on about her little buddy, I was sure I remembered his name. This is not the Satoshi I've come to know. Well, I don't know. Miss Yu talked about her cat a lot in class, so pretty much the whole school had heard of him. She even has some tins of cat food hidden on a shelf in the classroom, probably because she bought too much and had no room to put in the apartment. Problems of a cat owner. He's asking the cat. The cat's gonna gouge her eyes out through the mail slot. That was stupid. My shoulders sank. I felt defeated. I'm talking to a damn cat. What the hell was I doing? I closed the mail slot and stood back up.
弱ったな。ゆい先生、どうしたんだろう。どっか外出中とか？空いてたりしないかな。
Oh no, did you really? Just to see, I placed my hand on the doorknob. And the door opened.
え？鍵かかってないのか。
Hmm.
うわ、いけね。モネが出たら大変だ。
Oh shit. He just goes in? Well.
お前のご主人様は不用心だな。鍵もかけてないなんて。
I feel like this is gonna go someplace that I'm pretty sure it's gonna go. Manette's whiskers twitched as I called out to him in the entranceway.
なんだ？その通りだにゃって。モネもやっぱりそう思うか。
Hiro was talking to a cat. What did I become?
どうしよう。
I was feeling pretty uneasy. Not only had I peeped into someone's home, I walked in without a second thought. Yeah, why did you do that? Moreover, this was where Miss Yu lived, alone. In other words, a woman's apartment. No matter how many times I reminded myself that I was here on an errand, I couldn't help feeling that I had not only crossed the line, but leaped over it. That's a good line.
ゆい先生。
Just put him on the table. I tried calling her name one last time. But as expected, there was no answer.
本当にどうしようか。
It would be kind of weird, though, if he did place on the table and she wasn't home, and she'd come home and find that, she would be a little freaked out. Just for a moment, she'd look around her house and see no one's there, but still freak her out, so you don't want to do that. I was trying hard to avoid being too nosy, but my... What? I began searching the house, basically. The apartment entrance led out immediately into the kitchen, and beyond that, there was a sliding door to another room. I could see the light through the gaps. I strained my ears, but there was nothing to hear, no signs of life whatsoever. Miss Yu really must have been out. One more time, I tried calling her out. One more time. This time it's the last one. Just to put my concerns at ease. I felt like it seemed more suspicious if I stayed silent.
ゆい先生、持田です。
Mochida desu. Still nothing. Maybe she was asleep on the... Maybe she's not home, or maybe she's asleep, or maybe she's...
確かめてみ。
Oh my god. It's gonna go that way, isn't it? Shaking my head furiously, I cast out that sudden impulse. That was a terrible idea, pure and simple. Entering an apartment unannounced was bad enough, but walking all the way in, opening the sliding door and peeking aside, this is too much.
っていうか、このタイミングでゆい先生が外から帰ってきたりしたら、俺、じゃなくて、だいぶまずい。
Monette meowed, as if in agreement. Panicking, I once again surveyed my surroundings. I almost felt like there were eyes on me, staring with disdain. But of course nobody was there.
あ、そうだ。書き置きを残していけばいいんじゃないか？
Wondering why I didn't think of this sooner, I dug into my bag for some paper and a pen.
山崎先生から頼まれたのでって書いておけばいいんだよな。俺のノートでいいや。
Yeah, you do that.
ゆい先生、
Crouching in the doorway, I ran my pen across the page. I brought class notes, yeah, at Mr. Yamazaki's behest. Everyone has been worried about you. Sorry about that, barging into your apartment.
あと、不用心だから、鍵はかけた方がいいと思います。
Fair enough.
ん？
Great. As I was writing the note, I sensed a presence in front of me. Until just a moment ago, this house had no signs of human life in it, but now I could feel someone standing directly ahead. Standing and looking down at me. Fidgeting nervously, I put down my pen. Raised my head slowly. Oh, and I saw a white, slender ankle. We might actually be in that school, but he's having an illusion. What? Okay. Shocked, I shot my head up, and there, standing before me, was Miss Yu, and she looks like crap. You're not looking too hot. She was looking right at me, and she seemed decidedly out of sorts. Her hair looked disheveled, her gaze was unsteady, and her pajamas were in complete disarray. She was like a completely different person from the usual kempt educator you'd come to know and love. Well, you are in her house. I stood up frantically and held out the note I'd been writing, but... She was just standing there, stupefied, with a complete vacant expression on her face.
Sensei.
I called out to her as gently as I could, but nothing. She was really dazed. She seemed almost like a ghost.
Sensei,
what? She might be sick. Or maybe, alright, fair enough. I had a sudden uneasy feeling. Worried, I walked up to Miss Yu, grabbed her shoulders, and tried to snap her out of it by shaking her. But instead... this just seemed to make her cough.
Sensei!
These were wet, productive coughs, and spit was shooting out of Miss Yu's mouth with each one. I frantically tried to shield my face from the spray, but my reaction time wasn't quick enough. Ew. Ew. I put a hand on her cheek and found it thick with a slimy film of saliva. What? Why is he getting all up and close on her?
Daijoubu, Yui sensei.
Man, you look like shit. Miss Yu hobbled back a little and fell on her knees with a thud. She had completely sprawled out in the hallway, moaning and groaning the whole time.
Sensei?
Wiping the splatterings from my own face, I leaned over and took a better look at hers. It was bright red. Strained breathing, a stuffy nose, and visibly high fever on top of all. She was sick as could be.
Samui no? Demo, ase kaiteru yo.
I thought maybe her sweat had cooled her down, but then I realized her disheveled pajamas certainly weren't doing any favors. With heart pounding a mile a minute and face red as a traffic light, I set about buttoning her up.
Yui sensei, ore no koto wakaru? Mochida da yo. 寒いならちゃんと布団で寝ないと。出ないと治るもんも治らないって。
I guess this is a flashback. She absent-mindedly extended her shaking arms like a zombie, slowly reopened her eyes and looked up at me. It was the gaze of a severely fevered mind. Uh-oh. We in trouble? Wow. It's doing that creepy thing again where she's like at my left side. Like she's right in front of my face. She was clinging to me tightly. I couldn't move. I was frozen in shock. She began to weep. What? This is awkward. Seems like I wasn't getting through to her at all. And the sensation of her chest as she held me was making it virtually impossible to fight her grip. I was utterly powerless against this opponent. I never realized just how soft a woman's chest is. God, what am I, weak-willed? I had to remind myself that Miss Yu had confused me for someone else. Mustering all the strength I could, I gripped her arms and tried to pry them off me. But she was a lot stronger? She wouldn't let me get away. What is she referring to? Must be a really bad fever. There's the boob sounds. As she squeezed me tightly, I felt as though my upper body might collapse under the pressure of her softest parts. I was blushing uncontrollably. Never speak of this again. I struggled to wiggle free, but Miss Yu only grabbed me tighter. Our bodies were getting more and more intertwined. And every time I squirmed, Miss Yu would just pull me even closer. Fuck. As her chest rose and fell erratically, droplets of sweat slid down into her cleavage. I could feel the heat of her fever radiating off of her steadily encroaching face, as well as the shoulders I grabbed in an effort to push away. I don't know. In this situation, do you just, like, shove her away? like wrestlers just rake the eyes? Or do you just go with it? Questions were swirling in my head. What was Miss Yu crying? Who was this Tasuka-sa person? I'm probably saying that wrong. I am saying it wrong. But I was most concerned for the state of her pajamas, which had become even more disheveled since during our struggle. Yeah, I don't think she's wearing pants. Realizing that not a single word was getting through to her, I sighed she resigned. I've taken care of Yuka any number of times when she caught a cold or drawn a fever, but I don't recall ever getting this bad. Miss Yu is usually calm, collected, and rational. Who would ever imagine that a fever could leave her so thoroughly discombobulated? Put more strength into my resistance, and finally her arms relaxed just the tiniest bit. But her expression changed drastically. Is she pissed now? shaking my head right now. Miss Yu was acting like a spoiled child. Slipping out of the shoes I'd still be wearing, I again drew close to her sprawled out form. There was no way I could just leave her like this.
後で気がついて怪しまないでくれよ。
Miss Yu let out a lethargic groan, perhaps in response to my quiet murmurings. At my wit's end, I grabbed hold of her and did my best to carry her into the back room. Gently wheeling her over to her unfurled futon, I then carefully laid her down, making sure she didn't drop her in the process. Then there was the matter of rebuttoning those pesky pajamas again. Just put the covers over and have it and call it a day. Hesitantly pulled up her pajama bottoms and brushed away the strands of hair that were plastered to her brow with sweat. I'd done my best to avoid seeing anything I shouldn't, but I'm a guy, so so my heart was pounding the whole time. Miss Yu's pajamas were soaked through with sweat. She really might have been better off with a change of clothes altogether. But no, that wouldn't have been going way too far.
タオルとか何か拭くものでもあればって。
Noticing a convenient store bag carelessly tossed to the floor, I glanced inside.
なんだ、冷却シート買ってきてあるじゃん。なんで使ってないんだか。先生、ヒヤッとするけど我慢してね。これでよし。
Oh, and the cat's all nice to him, too. I guess that sign was just a joke after all. I placed one of the compresses on her forehead and pulled the covers over her. Miss Yu appeared almost instantly relieved. She exhaled contentedly, and her breathing became more relaxed. Finally, she was asleep. You're a good guy, Satoshi. Now get out of there. Even in sleep, Miss Yu seemed to be suffering.
もうね。なんだ、先生が心配か。だよな。俺もここまでひどいことになってるとは思わなかったよ。
Monette had coiled up on my legs without me noticing. I began absentmindedly speaking to him. Like a crazy person, I meowed in response. And our conversation ended there, as my gaze is still fixed squarely on Miss Yu.
さて、どうしようか。ゆい先生。
Why would you then approach her again after you know that she's not in the right mind?
俺、このまま帰っても大丈夫？
Man, I remember when I was that sick, but I never lost my shit though. I just didn't want to move. She wasn't in any condition to respond. But what? What? Oh yeah, she is. Miss Yu's hand had slipped out from under the futon and was gently grasping my pant leg.
Oh no.
So what, you're afraid that she's going to wake up if you move your leg? So you're just going to stay there? Her grip was much weaker than before, but I knew I'd probably regret it if I went home now. I'd probably regret it if I went home now? Miss Yu just seemed really lonely. Wow. Without disturbing Miss Yu's hold on me, I took a seat beside her. For the time being, I figured I'd watch over her and make sure her condition didn't worsen. Good guy, Satoshi. Occasionally, Miss Yu's breathing would become ragged and she'd furrow her brow. She was in a pretty bad way. How did she even get this sick? Wasn't there anything else I could do? I glanced quietly down the hallway. I noticed when I carried Miss Yu's Miss Yu here that the kitchen near the entrance was perfectly neat and tidy. There wasn't any indication that it had been used that day at all.
飯食ってるのかな
Cat's probably hungry too. Monet's gaze shifted suddenly. I followed it and saw the pet bowls laid out in the corner of the room. One dish was filled to the brim with water, and the other was piled high with dry cat food.
なるほど。モネはちゃんと食べてるんだな。熱出してあんな状態になってても、お前のことはちゃんと考えてくれてるんだな。
Well, she has no appetite, but you're still supposed to eat.
でもさ、ゆい先生、まずは自分の食事の心配をしようよ。
Man, I sat here hoping to play a horror game, but it's like, it's gotta be a good reason for this whole scene. I shook my head at the whole situation, then glanced down at Monet, who was tilting his head as if trying to understand me. I broke into a wry smile. When I pulled out the cold packs, I did notice some cheap convenience store food in the bags as well. I guess that was going to be her food for the day. Not exactly the best stuff to eat when you're sick. At the very least, that's fine.
卵がゆでも作ろう。先生、キッチン借りるよ。
Yeah, make her dinner. Her face is bright red, and her half-pained, half-contented noises provided me with no clear cut-out answer to my question.
仕方ない。ゆい先生の代わりに、モネに許しをもらおうかな。モネ、キッチンを借りていいか
Stop talking to the cat.
ありがとう。
Monette's cries helped assuage my guilt over entering the woman's apartment and barring her kitchen. Not that it was the only reason to feel guilty. I don't think, anyway. I mean, circumstances were what they were. Still, I had this nagging sense that I should have somehow felt bad for what I was doing.
ゆい先生、ごめんな。ちょっと離れるよ。
One by one, I gently peeled off each of her fingers latched into my pant leg. The expression on her face changed as I was doing so, from contented rest to mild annoyance, but there was nothing to indicate that she might wake up.
よし、作るか。
As I stood up, Monette meowed happily and began tagging along at my heels. Huh. And Miss Yu, now resting by herself in the bedroom, let out a sudden sneeze. Son of a bitch. And we got somebody just laying on the floor.